I know a
Have
good
you been
amount.
doing the
I've been keeping up. I probably know about. All right, pick 23 was the first guy I don't recognize,
yeah,
and then after that, I mean Deontay Banks. I'm sure you know.
Deontay Banks?
I don't, but I've heard the name. I know he's a Maryland corner, and it says it right under him. But I mean I know Jalen Hyatt. I know Dalton Kincaid, Zay Flowers, Michael Mayer, Cody Mach.
Pretty much, I know him. Oh, Hendon Hooker.
All right, yeah, I like this because I feel like I can say some shit.
Right.
All right. We're live now, so let's get posted that we're live, and then we'll
Perfect.
start. All right.
The thing that you put on your right.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was just like, I'm just gonna throw it on. Oh, gotta change the font. What am I doing?
Ah,
Damn it. The font just got so small
oh,
it disappeared.
bland.
I know, I just changed it again, and it's so small it disappeared. I don't know how that happens. Are all these small now? This happened to me before. I don't know how to fix it. Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna have to pick just a normal ass one. Why is it so small? What the fuck is that?
I can see it. That's just blurry.
Now it's massive. Now all the is taking up both of our faces.
I see it now.
Alright. This is a great way to start.
Astrophy.
It's still blurry.
Why? It's blurry.
Alright, let's go 72. Let's just make it the largest. Alright, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna delete all of it. Remove. Yes. A new text box. I can't believe this happened again. If I accidentally pick one of the fucking stupid ones, then I'm screwed. All right. Wise guys. Okay. Text. The wise guys. And we're doing classic Ariel today. That's what we're doing.
There we go.
All right. Now let me get this on my Snapchat story and we're ready to go.
Okay. Got this suggestion from YouTube. Pardon my take, guys. Taught a college class.
No way. That's actually
That's what it
sick.
says.
All right. I'll be ready in 2 seconds.
Okay.
All right, you ready? What'd you say? Sorry.
I said, yeah, I'm just plugging in my computer.
All right, let's get started. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys podcast. I am your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic, Chris. Before we get into any sports, I got to see the Mario movie on Wednesday, opening day. God, give me 1 sec. All right. Opening day. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, I have a mustache. I dressed up I got my girlfriend to dress up as Luigi. It was pretty spectacular.
My mom said that you look like Mario.
Yeah,
Saw your Twitter.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I really wanted to look the part, um, and be the Italian self that I am. But the movie itself, I gotta say, and it's gonna sound biased because I literally dressed up as Mario, but I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, did you?
I thought it was actually fantastic. It was a great animated family movie. It was funny. I thought they used all the video game items organically and naturally, which sometimes that like forcing some of the video game concepts in video game movies always what makes it clumsy. But
Mhm.
I thought it was all pretty natural, pretty good. And my one critique, honestly, is it felt like the ending just kind of showed up. Felt like they could have used 20 more minutes, 15 more minutes
Spoilers,
for
no
this movie.
spoilers.
Yeah, I know.
I want to go see it. Okay.
I know. I know.
Picture.
No, and when you see it, we'll do a spoiler review. I think
Yeah.
that's what we should be doing.
I am very excited to go see it.
Yeah,
Who was the like the star? Who was the best performance, do you think?
I mean Chris Pratt does a great Mario. I really liked Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong.
Okay.
I thought
That was
Seth
one of the ones
Rogen
that I was thinking of.
did an absolutely
But
fantastic job.
he's Donkey Kong. It's Jack Black as Bowser, right?
Yep, great Bowser
Charlie Day
as Luigi.
is Luigi?
Yep.
Who's Toad?
Key from Key and Peele.
Okay. I was thinking that Charlie Day would have been better as Toad, but I guess that works too.
He turns out he's a good Luigi. He's a good Luigi. They play into the factor of like have you ever seen ever played Luigi's Mansion or ever when Luigi's always portrayed as like the scaredy cat? That's how he's portrayed in the movie.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they use elements from all the games. They make it natural. They make it fun, and the plot was simple, but it worked. I mean, it's a Mario plot. There's not much you could expect. You could probably guess the plot, but
Does Bowser capture Princess Peach?
actually, not to spoil it, that he doesn't. He's just trying to take over the world, but that's okay.
Oh.
And there's still some Bowser and Peach stuff in there. There's Donkey Kong versus Mario stuff in there. It's really great movie, fun movie. I was laughing the whole time. So go enjoy it. No matter what age you are, you're never too old for some good old Mario Brothers. And I just enjoy it. Get some popcorn while you're there.
There's Mario Kart in the movie, right?
Yes. Yeah. And the Mario Kart part, it's a small part of the movie. It's not very very big, but it was
Like the pod racing from the Phantom Menace.
It kind of is. It kind of is like that. It's I don't want to spoil it, but it's a pretty interesting and kind of bigger part of the movie. Another part that part could have been extended. That could have had like 5 more minutes of them in the carts because it was pretty cool. And that was cool because like all the items and stuff. It's not like those little mystery blocks were there. It was all like weapons on their cart and stuff. So that was really cool.
That's pretty cool.
All right.
Like a Batman car chase in the Dark Knight.
Yeah. Basically. The any other questions about the Mario movie that without trying to spoil it?
What I did hear was that you liked it, even though you're like
you question. You think I like every movie?
You used to.
I've gotten better at critiquing movies.
Yeah.
And
maybe since we started doing the movie reviews and we really started picking things apart.
Oh yeah, and I took a films class.
And you
too.
took a class.
Yeah. So that helps me look at it in a different way. But this one, if it was live action, Oscar worthy. That's all I got to say.
Oh, I would have loved to see a live action.
There's no way. There's no way.
And Bowser.
Yeah, there's no way you could have done it. There's 3 humans in the movie. It's Mario, Luigi, and Peach.
Be some epic CGI.
Well, actually,
that'd be like more impressive than Jurassic Park.
Honestly, that's not. You get to see like without. It's not a big spoiler. It's right at the beginning. You get to see like Mario's family life. Him in Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah. You get to see them do some plumbing.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Brooklyn and Queens.
I know it was set in New York.
Yeah. Mario's from New York, man. He's from Brooklyn.
I know that.
He so
And that you lived in Italy.
no, no. He's just a Italian guy from Brooklyn. All right. Let's move on to some sports. So, the first day of the Masters started. I got to watch some nice golf. I didn't really know what I was watching, but cuz I just kind of, I recognized some of the names, but a lot of the names I had no idea. I just kind of watched them play golf. And it's it was it looked like a beautiful day out in Augusta yesterday. The course looked
Mhm.
great. So Chris, you might know some of the names better than I do. Who's really? It looks like Brooks Koepka's really kicking ass right now.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I'll say is that I was watching yesterday. There was one camera angle where, like, I don't know how they focused the sound this much on the ball. Like, literally all you heard was the ball be hit, and then when it landed on the green, you would just hear like the dun, dun, dun. It was the most
That's
satisfying
crazy.
thing I think I've ever seen. Like, hearing the ball, and there was no announcer for some reason on that angle. But yeah, Kepka's been the best guy by 3 strokes so far, which is wild because he went through a stretch where he was dominant, but hasn't been like that in a couple years. And he's been playing over the Live Tour. There are a lot of Live Tour guys playing.
Didn't they get separated?
I
Didn't they kind of
mean,
like pot
the
off?
pairings.
Yeah, didn't they kind of pot off the
I
Live
think
Tour
so.
guys?
Yeah.
I heard that there was
Just
some
so there's no
chicanery.
tension or anything, I guess.
Yeah, I heard there's some
Yeah, that
chicanery
would
with
make
that.
sense.
Did you So before we get into the actual golfers, even though you already started a little bit, because you mentioned the ball hitting the grass and everything. Do you
Yeah.
know like that when you go there, you're not allowed. They take all your phones. You're not allowed to be on your phone.
Hmm?
You have to watch, and there's
Yeah,
also
you're like
like a
locked down.
yeah, and there's like a limit to like how loud you can be. Like you have to do like the golf clap, and you
Yeah.
have to stay pretty silent. So I guess that's how they get the nice noise on the ball and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most traditional golf place in the world. Like, didn't allow women at the club until like the late 90s. This place, this is old school, like country club.
Oh yeah,
It's
it
the most famous golf course in the world.
it reminds me. Just went a little tidbit into the trip I had over the spring break, which I still should make a YouTube video about. But I got to see the old course in St. Andrews, which is like the first ever
Oh
golf
yeah.
course. Very similar to it's funny. It very similar in like the historical aspect of it, like you're saying, but
Hmm.
completely different atmosphere around there. It's in a city. There's a beach
Hmm.
next to it. There's barely any trees. And Augusta, it's like this nice. It looks like you're in the of Eden.
It does, yeah.
It's
Amen corner.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So, I do love seeing like it says a tradition like none other, and it really is. It's like you're in a
Hmm.
when you're there, it's like a cult.
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's a lottery for tickets every year. It's not like you
Oh
can't like
yeah,
buy. No, I guess golf doesn't have season tickets, but even if you're rich, you can't just pay more. Like you can pay more on the resale market, but just enter a lottery and hope you win. I'm assuming it's incredibly hard to get them. And then I read you had to pay like if you didn't get them, you had to pay $700 a practice round to get in.
wow.
And like the actual golf is up to is like a grand or more.
So
It's a big deal.
so South Carolina, they have a program with the Masters where they take a bunch of students who are sport and entertainment, and they take
Oh
them and
yeah.
they send them down to the Masters to work it. So I know a bunch of kids that are there right now. They're working. I'm guessing throughout the whole day they're probably like selling food, and I think some of them have to work at like a Starbucks and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But my one friend, former president of my fraternity, he is down there right now, and he's working like the night shifts. So all
Hmm.
day he just gets to watch the Masters and walk around.
It's pretty good. That's a good deal.
Yeah, it's a
Really
great
good
gig.
deal.
All right, let's get back, circle back to the golfers themselves. Brooks, it looks like he's at a 1-stroke lead right now. through I guess right now. I don't know if he's teeing off or anything soon.
He's got 3 strokes. He's done today.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I
He's
see it
3
now.
up
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Jason
total.
Day, who
Yeah,
Jason didn't even realize still he's
Oh, I lost you for a second.
competitively. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I heard what you said. It just came a little later.
Okay.
All right. Jason Day. Yeah, is he? So it looks like he's from Australia.
I mean,
30
he was number 1 in the world for a little bit.
Oh,
Like,
really?
like 6 years ago. So
Okay.
yeah, he's like that's kind of a resurgence. Goes back. I think Rom is the best player in the world right now, so it's not surprising to see him up there on the leaderboard. Spieth is another one who hasn't had. Like, he went on that stretch where he was dominant, won the Masters and the U.S. Open back to back by like a lot, and I don't think he's been super competitive since, at least in the majors, which is really all I watch. But he's up there, so a lot of big names, and of course Tiger, who's not up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Had
I'm
a
trying.
rough
I'm
day
searching
yesterday.
down. Oh, he's tied for 51st right
2
now.
over, yeah. But he's got to play well today if he wants to make the cut.
It's all
The Tiger
Tiger's
stuff is
such a
insane.
yeah. I was just about to say
Like,
that.
I saw on Twitter that they published the times for the press conferences for all the guys, and it was like 30 minutes in between each one, so it would be like, like Brooks Koepka 10 to 10:30, John Rahm 10:30 to 11, and then it was like Tiger 11 to 12.
Oh
This
yeah,
gets
he gets an
twice as
hour.
much time as
Yeah,
everybody else.
Mhm.
Because like even though he's not even close to what he used to be on the course, he is still the biggest draw by far.
He's the golf icon. He's like the LeBron
Yes.
James of golf. He's now 47 years old, hobbling up and down the course of Augusta, and it's really like it's to the point where like there's people just out there that just want to make sure that just want to see him walk to the next course and make sure he's
Yeah.
like okay, because he has been.
No.
Seems like every time he's walking, he's limping. He seems like he's like the Tin Man now, basically. So it'll be just interesting to
He
see if he
looks
makes the
sad
cut.
all the time.
Yeah, because
He
he's
looks
always
so
in
sad
pain.
when
He's
he's
in
out there.
pain. It's un-American to
It
not root for Tiger Woods though.
is, and like, yes, he's had some stuff in his life that does not reflect well on him as a person, but it was one of those cases where I don't know if you ever watched the documentary. We could do a review on it, honestly, if you wanted to.
I'd be
But
down. I've never seen it.
he rose to fame so quickly at such a young age, and he just didn't handle it well. Which, like, obviously, where I would never even be in that kind of position. Most people aren't. But he went through some stuff. He came back and won that Masters a few years ago. That was like the complete character arc, basically.
Yeah, the 2019
Then he went and got
Masters.
injured again. He got like another, I think it was a DUI, but he was like on pills or something. So not the most stable dude.
But you got to root for him. You got to make sure you got to root for
Mm.
Tiger. It's funny. It's like what you said, all that stuff. He just kind of gets the benefit of the doubt and just kind of gets thrown under the rug for all the snaky stuff that he's done. But that's okay. I'm okay with it. I mean, like as we said, it's like LeBron. If I mean, it happened with Kobe. Everything got swept under the rug. When it's an icon like that, it just people just kind of deal with it, and it doesn't really get that big of a deal. And it was. I mean, to be fair, it was a big deal.
He hasn't like committed any crimes.
Yeah, no, he never committed. Yeah, I mean the
Guess a
DUI. Yeah, the DUI is a
crime.
crime.
like the cheating scandal. Like that's not a crime. It's just like a bad look.
And it's also
he's like a sex addict.
You know what? And you know what he gets?
He went to therapy.
You know what his punishment is? Is that we make fun of him for it. Like we'd make like the jokes, like a lion would never cheat on his wife, but a tiger would, or like stuff like that. Like I don't know. I think that's like your if you're that much of a star, the punishment is like, all right, we're just gonna make fun of you.
For it.
Yeah, you're just gonna get made fun of the whole time. All right. Anyways,
I'm excited for his son to come up. Charlie.
Yeah, is he
dirty.
He's a prodigy, right? It's
Got the
coming
same
up.
swing.
Oh, all right, perfect.
Oh.
So who's been the most surprising guy in the top 10 right now?
Uh, Shane Lowry kind of came out of nowhere. He's the big Irish dude. Kind of looks like Luke Combs.
He does.
And then Victor Hovland yesterday. Did he just? Yeah, he just teed off. But a 7 under round is wildly impressive. He's a pretty young dude. He's 25. So we'll see. Hopefully he keeps that up. That'd be cool to see a guy that young win.
You see, how's Max Homa doing? Oh, he's all right.
Almost
He's
like
one
one
under.
under right now.
Tie for 27.
So fine. He should make the cut as long as he stays in par the rest of the day.
I listen to him a lot on Pardon My Take whenever he's on.
Yeah.
He's just a hilarious guy.
He is funny. I had to bet on him to win the whole thing, just because he goes on.
Just because he goes on Pardon My Take. Yeah, and it's speaking of Pardon My Take, it looks like Blake Koepka is. I mean, he's, as we mentioned earlier, in the lead. Another Pardon My Take guy.
Blake.
Why do they call
another
him
guy that I?
Is that his real name?
Because it is Brooks.
Oh, okay. They just like to call him Blake.
Yeah, well, it's because they're friends with Blake Griffin and Blake Bortles, and then they just like threw him in there. They're like, "Oh, you're similar to these guys," so they just start calling him Blake. Doesn't really make any sense, but another guy that I love to see at the Masters every year is Freddie Couples, who's like 90 years old now. And he just always plays well. He's 63. I think the deal with the Masters is once you win, you don't have to qualify. You still get to play in it every year. Like, he plays on the senior tour. And he still just comes back and plays in the Masters. He's using a yellow ball. And he's like whooping up on half the field. So it's awesome like every year. It's like, oh, there's Freddie Couples hanging around.
That'll be fun to see if Tiger's body can hold up and he plays in like the senior tours a couple times.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
He's not gonna play golf at 63. I know that.
No way. He shouldn't. Medically, he shouldn't.
No, he probably should not be playing golf right now.
Okay, so
he has to.
Out of the top, I guess tied for 6 right now. Who can we see taking it all the way?
Honestly, hard to say. Any of these guys could. Saturday's like the moving day. Like really sets guys up in good position. I mean, obviously the easy pick would be to say Koepka.
Mm-hmm.
And like Koepka when he's on, is just like so dialed in. He's not even affected by pressure of playing in a Masters. Especially because he's already won one. He just doesn't care. So I would not be surprised at all. I would be surprised if Jason Day won it. But that would be a cool story. Went from like #1 in the world and then literally disappearing.
And coming back and winning the Masters.
Competing in the Masters.
Yeah.
So that would be cool as well.
Well, sweet.
Hopefully for my sake, Max Homa can make a run.
How you must have gotten him at high odds.
Yeah, it was like plus 3,300.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's kind of the extent of Masters talk I can give, honestly.
I will say be remiss if I didn't bring this up, but I did a Masters fantasy league, and one of my picks, Will Zalatoris, withdrew from the tournament like at his tee time.
Oh.
I couldn't change the pick, so I just got a fat 0.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
What? It was so dumb because I was watching it and they said like on the broadcast they were like, "Oh, like heard that Will Zalatoris is going to be withdrawing for a back injury," and I like went into fantasy to change it, and I couldn't change it because it was right at his tee time. Like, why didn't he just learn in warm-ups?
Yeah, that's bogus.
Oh, that pissed me off. It is bogus.
You should have been able to pick someone else up, anyways.
I know, it's fine.
You survive. It's a Masters fantasy league
now. Jason Day is down to 6 under now. He had a rough stretch.
Any money on it?
Koepka's got just $10.
All right, that's not bad.
Yeah, still annoying. Kepka's got a 5-stroke lead on the field right now, which is not insignificant, even on day 2.
All right. Well, that's how the Masters are looking at 141 on Friday. Oh yeah, I just saw it updated. He's got the 5-point lead.
Yeah.
Or 5-stroke lead, I guess. All right. Well, now what we're going to do is we're going to look through. Let's see whose mock draft this even is. I think his name. All right. Chad
Random
Rutner.
schmo.
Yeah, some random guy named Chad Rutner. He's apparently a draft analysis. He's been covering the NFL draft since 2000. He's hired by this NFL draft scout.com senior analysis. I never heard of him either, but seems like he's been doing this for a while. So we're looking at his mock draft. It's a 4-round mock draft. We're just looking at the first round. We're just gonna discuss the picks that he's made, what our opinions would be on it, and how it would look for NFL teams. Just getting us ready for draft season. We're gonna make our mock draft soon, so we got to get familiar with all these guys, where they're projected to be positioned, and I'm excited to break it down. So let's start. Chris, do you want to go based off just what you want to look at, or just based off number 1 through 31?
Let's roll down at least like the top 10 first.
All right.
Then maybe we can hop to guys that stick out and our teams.
All right. So it has the Carolina Panthers traded up 2-1 from the Chicago Bears, and they have them taking quarterback CJ Stroud. I think that seems like the pick that they have kind of dialed in for the Panthers here. A lot of people, it seems like this is who they kind of traded up for. It seems like one of those scenarios where there's not like all these guys are good, all these quarterbacks, but there's not that Trevor Lawrence in the draft. There's not that God, I was gonna say, like, there's no number
Luck.
1 consistent. Yeah, Luck. Any number 1 contested guy, even Kyler Murray or anything like that. So they have him taking Stroud. I wouldn't mind the Stroud pick. It seems fine. I think Stroud would be a good NFL quarterback. He seems like he's pro ready. He seems like he can make great throws and he can move when he wants to. The issue with him is just the Ohio State quarterbacks. I mean, they always have the best weapons. They always have guys going in the first round as wide receivers, and they're always throwing to guys who are wide open. So it'll be interesting to see how Stroud goes into the NFL, how he develops. I think the Panthers have done a great job this offseason adding veteran weapons around them, adding veteran pass catchers, running backs. They got Adam Thielen, Miles Sanders, Hayden Hurst, just 3 reliable guys that'll get you any. Oh, I had a piece of paper in my mouth. Sorry. I think it's from my Taco Bell wrappers. But anyways, CJ Stroud, what are your thoughts?
I was hoping that you didn't have like an actual weakness to talk about, because that was my take on it too. That like the one thing is just the stink of Ohio State, and you could say the same thing for Bryce Young too. Honestly, like Bama does not produce good quarterbacks either.
Hey, Mac Jones is great.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Fine.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
He seems he's fine. He seems like he's the most like pro style quarterback, at least.
Yeah, you can see how
4 guys even like he's not more athletic than Young or Richardson or even this, but he like seems like the safe pick. Like he fits the mold more than the other guys do.
I agree. I definitely think he fits the mold. And Frank Reich, he likes tall quarterbacks. CJ Stroud's pretty normal height. Bryce Young, of course, the outlier there, and Anthony Richardson. It's funny. I could see them going Richardson at 1 just because of that upside. The NFL teams love upside. And
but it's like just trick yourself into these guys that like just go with your gut. You watched him in college. He's super athletic. more than I did, and he struggles like as a quarterback.
Yeah, you can have that's the thing. You can have all these traits, but you got to be able to play quarterback. And he just hasn't played a lot of quarterback. He just hasn't played a lot of it. We haven't seen a ton of it's kind of like the Mitch Trubisky where we haven't seen a ton of him
Ugh.
play. Um and that upside just infatuates teams. So, I'm excited to see where he does go in this mock draft. He's going to number 3 with the Colts, who traded to the Cardinals. We're skipping Texans. I don't know why. We're going Bryce Young. That's where the Texans are going in this mock draft. It seems like that's just like even more than the CJ Stroud, because I've seen some people have them take Richardson, maybe Bryce Young, but it seems like the Texans just always end up getting Bryce Young here, and it seems like that's kind of where it's been almost all year. It feels like it's like, oh, the Texans they're gonna get Bryce Young. They're gonna figure it out and get him somehow. How do you feel about Bryce Young? I just can't get over how small he is. If we're gonna make fun of Murray for
I
it,
don't
then we
know,
have to
'cause,
make
like,
fun of
it didn't
him.
I know. It didn't used to bother me, and then, like, I saw one picture, maybe you sent it to me, like, him walking into the combine, just him, like, next to other players, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he really is small."
Yes.
And
Yeah.
people will always say, like, "Oh, like, it doesn't matter anymore, like, look at Russell Wilson." And it's like, alright, that's one example out
And
of
he was good
years and
for
years doing this.
and Russell Wilson was good for about 5 years until people figured him out, and
Oh,
now he's one of the worst contracts in the league on the Broncos.
oh, wait for Sean Payton.
All right, sure. I'll wait for Sean Payton.
Breeze was the other one that's like, oh, well, Drew Brees is small. But I think Bryce is smaller than both of these guys.
He will be the
Like, he's
smallest.
closer to Kyler.
Yeah, no, he's smaller than Kyler. He will be the smallest quarterback ever taken in the first round. And I think honestly, he'll be the smallest
Yeesh.
quarterback ever taken in like the first, I believe, 4 rounds.
Yeah, I just. Ugh, excuse me.
So
Um,
the
it's embarrassing.
downsides with it small is seeing over the offensive line. All those guys are going to be almost a foot taller than him. And also throwing over the middle, which in
Mm.
Alabama, he did throw a lot over the middle, so that is a good sign. And he had great pocket presence. We've been infatuated with this guy for years, so it makes sense. I mean, I think that he will hopefully transfer to be a good NFL quarterback. I just don't know, say 15 years from now, is he even going to be in the league? That's what I would be my concern. This is longevity in the league. Did I lose
Yeah,
you?
and I guess we
Oh.
haven't, like, just kind of moved right into. Oh,
No, we're good. We're good.
okay.
Keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Just kind of immediately started dreading him.
Yeah, I mean, he won the Heisman as a
He won a
sophomore.
Heisman.
Yep.
He's one of the most athletic guys, like, amazing in the pocket and out of the pocket. So, like, the talent is obviously there.
Hmm.
My only concern is the height and, like, the Bama thing too. I just never know, but you never know with any of these guys. If it was
Yeah.
my team, I'd be excited.
Oh, definitely. I
So,
I would be too. And I think for a Texans fan, I think you got to be excited. I mean, you're going from Davis Mills to Bryce Young. That's an upgrade in anyone's mind, I believe. Even though we love
yeah,
Davis on this pod.
even for a pro Davis Mills podcast.
Yes. There's another Davis Mills in this draft. Do you see him? It's
So,
the other like white guy from Stanford that is for some reason like sneaks up and for some reason first round pick talks or he's not in this one luckily, but he won't be a first round pick. I forget what his name is though. All right. Anyways, Colts, Anthony Richardson. We kind of touched on him earlier. I mean, he's the Josh Allen of this draft class, but with even less quarterback experience. And it's just going to be what team is enamored by his athleticism the most is who's going to trade up for him.
I just saw a report that said that Frank Reich is in love with him. If it was solely up to him, he'd take him.
It seems like they're in love with
Obviously,
Stroud too. Remember, like, did you see
yeah.
the video of them at Ohio State's pro day, and Josh McCown's like, "Oh, when you're playing basketball in Charlotte against me, like, well, we'll have some good times or whatever, something stupid like that." So I don't know, but yeah, we kind of already touched on Richardson. Let's move on to some other non-quarterbacks. The Cardinals moving down from 3 to 4. This is definitely the Cardinals are at 3, are definitely the team most likely in the top 5 to trade down. I think they could even trade down lower than 4. Try to get another QB needy team to trade up to 3, and they're not going to take a quarterback. They're stuck with Kyler with his giant contract. They need defensive help, and this one has them taking Will Anderson, probably the best player in this draft. Could have been a Heisman as a defensive player, and this would just be an amazing pick for the Cardinals. Trade down, get some more picks later on, and I'm all for it. I think the Cardinals need to go defense, and Will Anderson is I believe him as a game changer for the defensive end.
Nothing has worked on them defensively far, and you kind of luck out when you're in their position when you're the first team in the draft that doesn't need to take a quarterback.
Yeah,
because then you get the most talented player. You don't need to reach for that quarterback. They're in that spot.
They're the worst roster in the NFL. I know we talked about this with the Falcons and stuff last year and the Seahawks, and we were dead wrong.
The Texans are still worse.
You think the Texans are? I don't know. I think the Cardinals. If you look at their I don't know if you've looked at their roster recently. It's horrendous. They are, especially with D-Hop leaving, or projected to be leaving. Still no trade, and apparently they're going to release him because nobody wants to take his cap hit. But they're the worst team in the league. They're gonna have the first overall pick next year, and just get some defensive help while you can. And I think that's a great pick for them.
Wasn't like Kyler was hurt this year, wasn't he?
He ended the season hurt because he got hurt against the Patriots when I think it was like week 11 or 10, and now he's gonna be out for. Hello.
How much crap that we give Murray, he still is a really good quarterback.
I agree.
Like, just him alone will get them at least like 5 or 6 wins.
Hopefully, if he's not stuck playing Call of Duty all rehab.
He will be.
All right, Seattle Seahawks with the luckiest pick in this draft. They traded their star franchise quarterback to the Denver Broncos a year ago. With this pick involved in the trade, they made the playoffs. They have pick 20 themselves, and they got hand-gifted a top 5 pick in this draft by the Denver Broncos, the number 5th pick. And in this, they're taking Joey Porter Jr. I feel like that's really high for Joey Porter Jr. I like Joey Porter Jr. I think he's a good prospect, good corner. I've seen a lot of things of Christian Gonzalez. If Jalen Carter's here, I mean, he's supposed to be. I know he has some off-field shit, but he's supposed to be one of the best defensive players in the draft. Tyree Wilson as well. So I feel like this is kind of a reach in this mock draft. Of course, who am I to say? Like, this guy could be an all-pro or whatever. And I really like Joey Porter. I think he's got the build of his dad, and he plays corner. So it's a big physical corner. They have him pairing him with Tariq Woolen. And so I like the pick. I think it's a little high, but I like the pick.
I mean, they're another one where do they have a single impactful defensive player on this roster?
Not really. Woolen had a breakout year, so he's really good. And they have, I guess, a couple of good safeties, but they desperately need defensive help. That was their
you could
flaw.
Go anywhere with this.
Yeah, you can go pretty much any.
Whoever the most talented defender on the board is, that's who you go with.
I agree.
So if they think that's Joey Porter Jr., I know I'm looking at CBS and they have him at 12.
Yeah.
What was the Carter off-field stuff? I remember hearing about that, but it feels like so long ago that team's just forgotten about it.
Yeah, we just kind of
something pretty severe.
I thought it was a DUI or something. Let me look it up. Jalen Carter off. This is great podcasting.
Who's the guy who drove the murder weapon to the scene of the murder, right? And his coach. Oh, never mind.
It's Brandon Miller. The
Different
shooter.
sport.
All right. So 2 national championships. Yeah, yada yada yada. Where?
Oh, it was a fatal car
Yeah,
accident.
it was a car crash,
Body cam footage. Let's
and I
see.
think he was drunk during it or something. I thought it was like a
He'd be
DUI
in
car crash.
jail.
I don't know then. I'm not sure. But anywho,
Denied racing when the police directly asked him.
no.
Interesting.
All right. Well,
They did issue a warrant for his arrest.
yeah, I did see that.
Oh, so they were definitely racing.
Yeah.
It was his teammate.
Oh. That's stupid. That is so dumb. You're about to be a top 5 pick and you're racing cars. That's ridiculous. All right.
Yeah, that is wild.
Back to the mock draft. Detroit Lions, another hand gifted pick for Matthew Stafford. Another top 10 pick from the Rams. Rams had a terrible season. They're in just complete rebuild mode, I guess. They still have Aaron Donald, but that's about it. And they have here taking Lucas Van Ness, which is another drastic reach in my opinion. I think Lucas Van Ness is a project edge rusher. He didn't play a ton in Iowa. He played pretty much every third down, but like third down and fourth downs every time they needed him out there. But just a guy that he's got the athleticism, he's got the traits, and kind of like what's his name from the first overall pick last year that nobody talks about.
Von Walker.
Yes, yeah, a lot of similar traits, a lot of peak athleticism like that. Just hasn't seen the production that needs to be in college. I don't like this pick. I think the Lions should go corner here. Christian Gonzalez is right there. If you're taking this, Tyree Wilson, Jalen Carter, any of these guys, I feel like would be better picks than Lucas Van Ness.
I think D-line would not be the worst idea in the world.
No,
He
I
just
agree.
might not be the top guy there because he went D-line last year, the old Ron Rivera strategy, and just draft them all. But it kind of works.
It does.
You have Hutchinson on one end, and then maybe Jalen Carter or Wilson. I've seen ranked.
Oh, why do you keep cutting out like that? Because it's not. I'm not dipping in frames. Oh, now I am. Okay. Oh, I completely lost internet. Shit.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh.
Well, we're back. Hopefully the stream's up and alive. Oh, we have some comments. So I want to get to the comments before we keep going on what we were talking about. We have Walker Lewis. Shout out Walker. He's a Bama. His dad went to Bama. He says Bryce Young is the GOAT.
Dear.
Bryce Young equals GOAT. And then he said Will Anderson is actually an alien, which is true. He is an actual alien. All right, back to the mock. We were talking about Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson he's just a monster. He has a bunch of sacks. He's a great Texas Tech rusher. Some people have him ranked over Will Anderson, and that alone is a compliment enough to say that he should be a top 5, top 10 pick in my opinion. And they have him going to the Falcons at 8. I think that would be a great pick. Falcons just need help on the defense. Seems like I kind of like what the Falcons are doing, which is something I didn't think I would say.
I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be saying that. They
all the crap that we've given them.
I know, especially with their butt chin head coach.
Hey, again, I'm on the Arthur train.
I know, we called him the dumbest looking head coach though when he got hired.
Still is.
All right, the Raiders at 7. This is a team that if Anthony Richardson falls, I can see him going there. I could even see them taking Will Levis. Oh, God. Thank you.
Who's the fastest player in the draft? So I could see whoever that is going
to the
Raiders.
Well. It's not John Gruden anymore. It's not John Gruden. But it's still that Raiders culture. Yeah, I get it. I could see them. It seems like this would be a interesting Tyree Wilson spot too. Christian Gonzalez they have going here would be a good pick. It seems like him and the guy from Illinois who they have the Pats getting, Devin Witherspoon. that they seem like the top 2 consensus corners in this mock draft. Of course, they have Joey Porter Jr. going ahead of him, but
Hmm.
I like Christian Gonzalez. I think he's another big physical corner that I like, and the Raiders just need help. They need help in a lot of places. I could see them even going offensive line here, trading down a little bit if they wanted to, but solid pick. They just need some help.
It's very heavy on defense. Sorry, the team's taking quarterbacks for the top 10.
So the Bears now at number 9 because of the Carolina Panthers,
Bears.
and they're getting a
There's
player.
No Jalen Carter fall.
You don't think so?
Like, there's no way.
I think it would be irresponsible of other teams to have him fall to 9. This is a pick that when the Bears had the number 1 pick, this was like mocked to them getting Jalen Carter at number 1. So this would be a huge win for the Bears. They went all the way to 9 from 1, which you don't see a lot. Normally, if it's a number 1 overall pick trade, it's like they go to 4 or 5. But
right.
I think they're in a great spot. They've had a great offseason. And if Carter lands here, it's a home run. It's a home run of a pick.
I mean, the off the field stuff, like, obviously is concerning. But talent is there.
All right.
It's almost worth just ignoring.
This mock draft has a trade here. It has a trade with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Minnesota Vikings. Send them the 87th overall pick and a first rounder next year. And the Minnesota Vikings take Will Levis.
This is a spicy one.
This is spicy. This is a hot take.
It's like the opposite of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. And I think this would be a good pick for the Vikings. It would be as it says in the description, it would be a big swing for them, and I think it definitely would. Kirk's entering his last year of his contract. Eventually, someone's gonna have to take over for him. That contract's just
never gonna end.
They're gonna extend him somehow, and it's just never gonna end. And
we'll restructure.
Oh, exactly, and he'll just have 2 more years, fully guaranteed of $40 million. But the Vikings, I kind of like this pick. I think it's really good. You have Will Levis. I mean, you could have him sit for a year behind Kirk, have him take over afterwards, and they have, of course, they have Justin Jefferson. They need another wide receiver too. They can get that later in the draft, or in free agency, because there's still some guys out there, and this would be a perfect place to put Levis in a place where he can succeed. Which, with a lot of these quarterbacks, that's kind of the key, is make sure that they're in a place where they can succeed, and I like it.
It just hired a young, offensive-minded head coach in Kevin O'Connell. Mm-hmm. So it could be one of those situations where, like, this is what works out perfectly. There'd be no pressure on him at all. Even if Kirk Cousins has a bad year, his standards, which he won't, he'll have the same exact year that he's had for the last 8 years. Not gonna be people calling for him to start over Cousins.
Yeah, exactly.
No pressure.
There's no pressure.
Sits. The only thing with him is he's already 23. But I know quarterbacks don't age as quickly as other players.
We have a comment saying they can't replace Kirk Thuggins though. I guess it's Kirk Cousins.
We gotta see more Kirk Thuggins.
I know.
I saw 15 starts by Kirk and only 1 by Perk.
I like the pick. I think this would be a great splash, and I like the boldness of this. Good on good on Chad getting some bold picks out here. So next up, the Tennessee Titans picking Paris Johnson. Paris Johnson, I don't know if you see. I don't know much about tackles or offensive lineman play, but I know this guy is a big fella. And he is just
that's always what I look at when offensive lineman is like, how big is he?
Yep. And his film is just him just mauling dudes. Absolutely mauling them. And this is an interesting team, the Titans, because they've been rumored to be talking with the Cardinals for the number 3 pick and possibly trading all the way up to get a quarterback. Yep. There's a projected trade, apparently, that they're talking about moving all the way up to the 3rd pick and taking the DeAndre Hopkins contract off the Cardinals. So that would just be a
Ooh.
completely new look for the Tennessee Titans. It seems like
They
Mike
need that. They need somebody.
they do
They
because
shipped AJ Brown away.
they do, yes. They desperately need wide receiver help, and it seems like from what I heard and what I could see from them not trusting him is it doesn't look like there's a lot of love for Malik Willis over in Tennessee. And
Oh, no.
if you remember last year, there was a power struggle between Vrabel and their GM, and Vrabel won. So it's a new GM in there from the 49ers. There's also some conspiracy that they want to trade with the Niners for Trey Lance. So quarterback's on the board for them. It's a new wrinkle out there. It's the last season of Tannehill's contract. He's old. He's mid. Let's just say it. So if they traded up and ended up getting one of these quarterbacks, this could be a really, really fun team.
I could definitely see them wanting to do that. I mean, they're like people winning the power structure or power struggle. It's like he's committed to him for a long time. They're always gonna have a decent defense with him, even though that they've had some issues. But like they were starting Josh Dobbs at the end of the year
instead of Malik Willis.
Not good. Instead of the guy that you drafted.
Yeah.
When you did play him,
he didn't look
he just
good.
Didn't throw the ball.
Yeah, he didn't look good, and they didn't trust him.
Really could not throw.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. Maybe he gets shipped off somewhere. Maybe they go up, make a move to get to third pick, or even just into the top 10. Like they could be where the Vikings go in this mock.
I have a sad, realization that Malik Willis is just going to turn into our Kellen Mond. We really liked him before the draft. We really thought he could be something, and he's just not going to work out. I mean,
I was not as high on Willis as I was on Mond.
No. We were higher on Mond, which is weird. Yeah, we loved Mond.
That's weird.
But as you said, they're fighting for a playoff spot in the last 2 weeks of the season, and they're not starting the guy that they drafted in the 3rd round last year. So clearly, Vrabel's not a fan, and some change needs to happen eventually. So I could see them taking any of these quarterbacks if they trade up. All right, the Houston Texans. Next up, pick 12. They're back up. I love this pick. Bijan Robinson.
Love this. Yeah.
Yes.
This is awesome.
The best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley, who went number 2, remind you, to the New York Giants. So this would be an instant game changer on the offense. It adds him, and if this mock draft turns into fruition, it would be him and Bryce Young. Just a fun duo that you can root for if you're Texans fans. That gives you hope, and I kind of like keeping him in Texas too. Get Texas running back goes to the Texans.
I didn't even think about that.
And I hope Bijan Robinson, because I've seen some mock drafts where like he's going in the 20s and going in the 14s.
How?
I have no idea, and I think he's one of the best prospect. I mean, he's definitely the best running back prospect, and possibly the best offensive prospect besides a quarterback in this draft.
Jeremiah has him at 3. His rankings.
I believe it.
It's Bryce Young, Will Anderson, and Bijan Robinson.
That I could see him going.
I know, like
I could see him go to any of these
criticize
teams.
I criticize teams for drafting running backs in the first round, but and you get a guy as talented as this.
It's different. It's different. Like this is a Zeke level player. This is a Saquon Barkley level player out of college, and that's. I mean, if you can get a good, you have his rookie contract. You have him for 5 years. Maybe sign him another 4-year deal after that. You have him for 9 years. Call it a day, and hopefully you get 9 years of good production out of him.
Lofty expectation for who hasn't taken the field.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, play through rookie contract, sign him to a 5-year extension.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
but like
set.
when this guy is that level of prospect, that's what you're looking at. That's why you would take him in the
Yeah.
first round. That's what your team would want to do. So yeah, it is lofty for a guy who's never played, but with this type of upside, that's what you're looking for with the 12th overall pick.
Hmm.
All right, the New York Jets. The New York Jets, who still don't have Aaron Rodgers, by the way, throwing that out there. They're taking.
I was thinking like, oh, like who's Rodgers gonna play with? It's like, oh, they don't
have him
have
yet.
him yet.
Yeah. So he's taking. They have him taking Peter Skoronsky, an offensive tackle, helping out Mekhi Beckham. Sure, help out Aaron Rodgers. Make sure his both of his sides are right. Get a nice tackle. I think they could go defense here as well, but beef up that defense that was already pretty good last year. Maybe help out Rodgers, draft out another wide receiver or something. But I do like the tackle here.
Not a rookie wide receiver.
Yeah, he just won't.
He doesn't need another rookie wide receiver.
Yeah, he won't throw it to him. So I like this pick. I think it's a pretty safe pick, a pretty solid pick. And if you ever do get Rodgers, then you have some guy to play tackle for him. All right.
His roster was already it's in pretty good shape right now.
The what?
The roster is in pretty good shape.
Oh yeah, and especially once Rodgers, whatever the compensation is, back to the Packers, whatever that is, they are looking in pretty good shape, which is interesting. Which is scary for the Jets. They don't think they had a confident roster like this in a long time.
Yeah, since like the Mark Sanchez days.
Even that, you're just saying like Mark Sanchez days. Jesus. All right. Next up, the New England Patriots. They have him taking Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois, a cornerback. I really like him. I think he's a great cornerback. My issue with him is that he's 5'11", right under 6 foot, which is okay. I just think the Pats have a lot of those guys who are, right under 6 foot, playing corner, and they're all pretty good. And Belichick definitely knows how to coach cornerbacks, but if someone like Joey Porter Jr. falls, who's, I think he's like 6'2", 6'2.5". Just I want like a big physical corner, but I wouldn't be mad with Devin Witherspoon.
I mean, I would like it if I were you.
I
don't want to go receiver here.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Next pick is Green Bay with JSN.
It's the best pick of the draft, by the way.
Really? You think so? All right, we'll get to them in a second.
In terms of like, well, I'll explain.
So, I think I know why you think it's gonna be the best pick in the draft, because I have a funny reason why it could be too. But you're right. We could go wide receiver here. Try to get that young wide receiver that we haven't had in a long time. It would be nice. I don't know, like, Jackson Smith-Njigba. I've heard some interesting stuff about it. Jordan Anderson goes in the first round in this too. Zay Flowers is another guy that I've heard a lot with the Pats. So I don't really know much about these guys. They're all small. They all seem like little slot guys, but I would take any one of them. And my dream, honestly, what if Bijan falls to us? I would love Bijan.
Be nice.
Insane. And I know I like Ramondre Stevenson.
More Ramondre Stevenson.
But
no, you turned on him.
I did.
Completely turned on him.
You know what?
You do not like him.
He loses us games. Bijan would not lose us these games. Yeah, anyways, Bijan would be a great pick here if he fell. If he fell past 14, I'd be so sad. But it's also Bill Belichick. Who knows who he's going to draft? He's probably going to draft some offensive tackle that's projected in the 3rd round. But that's okay.
Cole Strange.
Trust in Bill. I still like Cole Strange. That's a good pick. He's a good player. But we'll see where he goes then. Green Bay Packers. The first time that they don't have Aaron Rodgers in this mock draft, they have him taking, for the first time, I think ever, a 1st-round wide receiver.
Love that.
This would be just like such an FU, and I would love it. I would absolutely love it. It'd be like, Oh, we're gonna draft for your 14 years here or 15 years here or however long. We're gonna draft
Defense.
only defense, and then the second you leave, we're gonna help out Jordan Love and get him a nice offensive weapon. You know,
We say the same thing every year that they need it. So like, analysis doesn't change. They still need a receiver. Although Watson had a really good year for them.
I will give you. Let me confirm. Let me see the number. I will give you $5 if you could name 3 wide receivers on the Packers right now. I will Venmo you $5 right now.
Watson.
All right.
Is it Dubes?
Dobbs. Yeah. Okay.
Kind of cheating because he's already in this description. And then let's see. Lazard's gone. Cobb is gone. How does Scantling's been gone?
You're not getting any of these.
Oh yeah, I got nothing.
Bo Melton, Samori Torre, and Jeff Cotton.
Nope, those are not real people.
And their tight ends are Josiah DeGuerra, Tyler Davis, Austin Allen, and Nick Germiros. If Jordan Love starts for this team, they're screwed. They're screwed. They desperately need a wide receiver. This is a great pick, Jackson Smith-Njigba in the mock draft. They need to do this, and it's funny. You have Aaron Rodgers. You don't think you need to draft a wide receiver like that. Now you have a rookie quarterback though. He's not going to make any of these guys better, and you need talent out there.
Not a rookie.
He hasn't played yet.
One game.
All right, sure. He played against the Chiefs that one game where they stuck his mom up in the corner. It's the only thing I remember about it. I don't remember how he played. I just know that his mom was stuck in the corner of Arrowhead. But they desperately need some offensive help. I could see them trading down, getting a tight end later, and gather more picks, get some more wide receivers later. But they desperately need something out there. All right. Commanders time.
My squad. So at first, when my immediate reaction, they haven't taken O'Cyrus Torrence from Florida, who I've never heard of, but he's a guard. And I saw, they're taking a guard, and then I thought about it, and I was like, actually, I'd be perfectly fine with that. You need offensive line help. They went out and they signed like mid-tier linemen in free agency because that's what they could afford. So I am 100% on board with going offensive line here.
So
whether that's guard or tackle, I don't really care.
I actually heard something because I listen mainly where I get a lot of my draft analysis is the Ringer NFL Draft Show. I actually love those guys. They have a great show there over at the Ringer. And O'Cyrus Torrence from Florida, the guard that we're talking about, he apparently is the best guard in the draft. So
love it.
There you go. Get yourself a guard. Help out Sam Howell. And you already have the wide receivers. You just need to get the line to protect them. And you already have the defense. So I love this pick. I think
you don't need to go receiver here. You don't need to go get a running back. Like, you could use help in the secondary, I guess. And middle linebacker spot is still an issue. But
poor Shadow.
The issue that it's not really panned out. He was better.
Yeah, he had a better season.
Disastrous. But the thing that worries me the most is the offense. Especially if you're actually going to ride Sam Howell, which it looks like it is. Or which it looks like they are. I'm all for it.
So, once you get a new owner, are you guys not the team to get Lamar?
See.
Like, the new owner comes in, always
Bezos, it's guaranteed it's happening.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he doesn't care about
is going to get Lamar immediately.
I
like Howell.
I like Howell too.
Really do.
I think Howell should get a shot. But we talked about when we had the Lamar pod, we talked about how all the owners are scared to give the next guy the contract. Sorry, I was looking at the comments and it said Joshua Dobbs is just Dubs. Anyways, the new owner comes in. They're not gonna care about pissing anyone off. They're the new owners. They just got voted in.
know.
They're gonna make the new splash. And
It is why they'll care about pissing people off, though.
but they
Bezos,
what
I don't think cares about anything. But like, if it's Josh Harris, or if it's whatever that Canadian dude's name is,
Magic Johnson, not the Canadian dude. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, but anyways, you don't think they wouldn't care? Like, hey, you just voted us in. Like, we're better than Dan Snyder still. There's literally nowhere. Like, it doesn't
yeah.
get worse. Like, if you piss off everyone else, you're not gonna piss off everyone else as much as they got pissed off by Dan Snyder.
Like, but you don't set the bar at Dan Snyder. Like, you don't strive to be the third first best owner in the league.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair. But there's always a new owner splash, and I think if this happens by right after the draft or during or right before the draft, I can definitely see Lamar in Washington. That'd be awesome.
No, it's just the fact that it hasn't happened yet. It's like, the more time that passes, the more in I am on Sam Howell. The more nervous I get about Lamar.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense.
If it happened, I would be over the moon. No.
All right.
This is just me like preparing myself for it not to happen.
That's fair. That's fair enough. All right, let's you want to just keep going down the line, or do you want to jump some picks?
Yeah, let's jump some picks. I really don't care that much about any of these teams.
All right. So the next pick I want to jump to is the Buffalo Bills trading up with the Seahawks
That was mine too.
to get Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith, I mean, I don't remember if anyone
Another
remembers.
edge rusher for this team.
Yeah, I know. It seems like the third one they've drafted in the first round the past 2 years. But Nolan Smith, if you don't remember his combine tape, he ran like a wide receiver. He's built like an edge rusher, and the kid was just outstanding. He just destroyed all the metrics, all the 40-yard dash, the jump, everything like that. And him falling to 20, I would be very shocking to me. But him going on the Bills would be a scary duo with him, Von Miller, and all the other guys that they've drafted the past couple years.
Benenza, is he on the right?
Yeah, EJ Epinesa. They got some guy named Boogie last year, Boogie Brasham. They also got the guy Gregory Rousseau from
That's
Florida.
The guy I was thinking of.
But yeah,
that's like that. The modeled after that, like the Eagles team that won the Super Bowl, the Niners. They just have like 8 guys on the D line.
no, and
they're always fresh.
we were talking about that, and I don't remember if you remember last year when Von Miller was healthy and the Bills were dominating the Rams that opening night. The thing that we looked at was their edge rusher and their defensive line substitutions, where as you just said, everyone's fresh. They had 2 different lines to throw out there with a bunch of great picks, or with a bunch of great players to play, and that would be a home run pick for them. Which they need to figure out something. I don't know if they need another wide receiver. Well, they definitely need another wide receiver. I can tell you that. But they need to figure out a running game.
Put him in that receiver.
Get Lamar at running back, where his true position is. But they definitely need some offensive boost. But a defensive help in the draft definitely does not hurt them.
I don't know about the Chargers taking Jordan Addison. Jumping ahead to the next pick.
That's all right. They just need.
Is that really like?
How fast is he?
I don't know, because Mike Williams and Keenan Allen do not stay healthy. I do kind of get it.
No, and they need some separation too. They have one of the guys who can throw one of the best deep balls in the league in Herbert, and they have no one to really catch the deep balls besides when Mike Williams is out there for his 5 games. His 40-yard dash was 4.49.
Slow.
Yeah, it's kind of slow. So that's why I don't really like it. He's from Fredericksburg. I didn't know that. But that's why I don't really like it. What?
Fredericksburg?
Yeah, Fredericksburg, Maryland. Jordan Addison. He definitely...
Fredericksburg? Oh, just Frederick.
Yeah, just Frederick. I guess not Fredericksburg. My bad. But anywho, they need a faster guy, and if they like looking down, Jalen Hyatt going to the Chiefs, I think that's really early for Jalen Hyatt. He's a home run player. The Chiefs can do no wrong though. Honestly, they could pick anyone here, and it could be like, oh, they're gonna
That
win the
is
Super
true.
Bowl.
Cares.
So,
They
uh,
might.
so honestly, Jalen Hyatt, it is a little high for him, but they just lost Juju, him,
Yep.
Kadarius Toney. They got the guy Sky
This
Moore,
guy.
yeah, who wears 24, which is hideous. Um, just
For
do
the
a
first time that you said that, and it's like the first analysis we had of Sky Moore is like, that's a good name, Sky Moore. Like, oh, he's wearing 24. We don't like him anymore.
yeah, no, it's that easy. It's that easy sometimes. But I like Jalen. I mean, I think Jalen Hyatt's a good wide receiver. I think honestly, Cedric Tillman on Tennessee is a better prospect, and Hyatt I just see as a second round pick. But again, Chiefs can really do no wrong, so they'll figure out if they take him, they'll make him a superstar. I don't really worry about
Or he
it.
won't be, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'll just be stuck on the bench and be like, "Oh, remember him?" All right.
Mahomes is lifting his 6th trophy.
Yeah, yeah. He'll be he can help Mahomes get his T-shirt if all else fails.
Yeah, right.
He can be like, Mahomes, here's your T-shirt. There you go. You want before we move on from the 20 because that's now the 25th pick. It was a trade with the Giants. I guess a little trade up from the Chiefs. So before that was Deontay Banks, your Maryland corner, going to the Jags.
Love to see it.
Is
I
he
didn't know
first
that
round
he was gonna be a
talent?
first-round pick.
Okay.
They had apparently. I mean, they had a good secondary. Him and Jacorian Bennett. I think he was the one that made the play, close out the Mayo Bowl. I forget if it was him or Bennett though. But yeah, I mean, he held his own against some of the most talented receivers in the country that you're facing in the Big Ten. So yeah, I mean, good for him. Jeremiah has him at 24, so I guess that matches up with
The Jags taking him.
buddy Chad has.
I like this Jags team. I'm gonna lose money
yeah.
on. I'm gonna lose a lot of money on this Jags team because I just like their roster. I like what they're doing.
Plus 2,800 to win the Super Bowl.
They could have beaten they were right there to beat the Chiefs last year.
They were.
They were
didn't
right
fumble.
there. They had
That was a
multiple
one-score game
chances.
if they don't fumble at the goal line.
And they had multiple chances after that fumble too.
Yeah.
But
you just need like Trevor to take that one more step forward, and
Yep.
then they're set.
yeah, I agree.
Dougie P, fearless leader.
All right, Dallas Cowboys are up next.
I love that. I love that bet actually.
To win the Super Bowl.
It's 2,800.
Yeah, that's a good bet. That's a really good bet.
I'm trying to think. I feel like when you're doing the off-season bets, you're trying to find
Value.
something that like right. You're trying to find value. You're trying to get ahead of the curve. So like, I always try to think of who could be the next Mahomes.
Yep.
Like comes out, young guy who hasn't played much, and then just sets the league on fire. So I was looking up Jordan Love MVP odds earlier on this show.
You know, it's great and something that a great way to get ahead of the curve of what you were just saying. If you look at the top 8 NFC quarterbacks, they're horrendous. They're all bad. It goes number 1. They have all right. This is Colin Cowherd. All right, that's why. He has Matthew Stafford as his number 1 NFC quarterback. Which who knows if Matthew Stafford can even play football anymore? I watched that guy run up and down basically on crutches this year. So let's see if that guy can hold his body up. But sure, I guess at his
Probably
peak,
Hurts is 1, right?
yeah. So Hurts is number 2 in this and number 1 in my mind. He just took him to the Super Bowl, and then
Fields.
after that it goes Jared
You
Goff,
can't even put him.
Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Derek Carr. Like, look at these names: Kirk Cousins, Geno
They're
Smith is
shitters.
8 on this Colin Cowherd list.
I feel like I guess it depends on what you're basing it off of. If it's like how much weight do you put on last year? Because Geno's top 3, based on last year. Is he saying like for this upcoming season?
That's awful.
Oh,
I think
well, obviously because Stafford wouldn't be.
like
But
these are
that is
terrible
shocking.
quarterbacks. So I could see like a little money on maybe the Seahawks winning some play. Like, is there an NFC champion?
That
NFC
I think they
winner,
regress big
Seahawks?
time.
You think so? Think the Geno gets figured
Yeah,
out? There's got to be a team
that's
though in the NFC that is just going to come out of nowhere because like Daniel Jones is in the top fives. Commanders.
how?
How? Another reason why you should have been the. Well, I guess we wanted the
Red
Hogs,
Wolves?
but the Red
What
Wolves.
the
Now you have
Hogs?
Howell. Oh yeah, we wanted the Hogs. But anyways, the NFC quarterbacks are terrible. When you're looking at bets like that, look at some NFC guys
Owl is like plus 8,000.
to win MVP.
Great odds. He's lower than Trask.
Ugh, lower than Trask.
You forget
Trask
that Kyle
isn't even gonna
Trask
start.
existed?
Yeah,
I did.
yeah, I do. I think about every time I think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's always like, ugh, what? Like they're another team. What the hell are they doing?
They might be a sneaky like top 5 pick.
Or or if Baker works out, they could be like they retained all their guys. They have they have a Tom Brady roster around them. They're basically just waiting to see if Tom Brady wants to come back and play football. That's really what they're
But
doing.
even if he does, like they weren't good last year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And Baker is not going to work out.
No, we got to give up on Baker.
As much as I hate to say it. Like,
They're a
Todd Bowles
strange
is not
team.
Sean McVay. They're a strange team.
Cowboys
I'm taking their under.
pick
whatever it
26.
is.
Have them taking Dalton Kincaid. I don't know a ton about these tight ends, but I know Dak loves throwing to his tight ends. They just lost Dalton
he
Schultz.
seems like a guy who's going to be annoying.
Yeah. He just look. I mean, he's literally his same name as Dalton Schultz. He just seems like a pretty replaceable guy.
He looks like a guy that Jerry Jones would love too.
Oh, definitely. Him and Michael Mayer are like the two top tight ends. And
Mayer's got some great hair.
he does. Looking at that picture, he's got some
a
fabulous
clean
hair right
cut.
there. Yeah. So
It's funny because when I hear Mayer, especially with an M, I think of Matthew Meyer, who's on Illinois, who does not have good hair.
Matthew Meyer. I'm gonna look
One
up
of the ugliest people I think I've ever seen.
Oh God.
And that's
The basketball player? Yeah, that guy's got horrendous hair.
I actually called him ugly to his face when they played at Maryland.
He is ugly. That's a rough looking dude right there. All right. Back to the mock draft. These guys, either one of them I could see going. I think I love the Bengals picking a tight end, just rounding out that wide receiver core with a great tight end. And they did get Irv Smith Jr., who I like, but he really hasn't panned out in the league very much. Just one of those names that you always remember. We have some Geno for MVP chance in the comments, by the way. Anyways, they have them taking Zay Flowers, which they call a Tyler Lockett clone. So I like it. Get some more help for Geno.
They really need another receiver though.
Not really. They could use a third one, but
Yes.
I
I
don't
feel
know
like third receivers growing trees.
That's what I'm thinking. And it's also like you have 2 first-round picks. You want them to be 2 home runs. You don't need them to be a third round or a third wide receiver. Anyways, the last 2 picks I wanted to go at were the last 2 picks in this mock draft, where the Raiders trade up with the
Skipping over
Philadelphia
Cody
Eagles.
Mosh.
Sure. You want to talk about Cody Mosh?
I
You know
just
anything
think
about
he's
him?
cool. No, I've just seen like the comparison of him from his freshman year to his senior year.
Yeah, and he loses both of his
It's
front
one of
teeth.
the funniest things ever.
So he used to be a tight
He
end.
puts on 80 pounds and switches positions.
Yeah. And became a tackle or O-line. I don't know if he's a guard. Yeah, interior blocker, I guess. He can play all
Tackle
5
college.
positions. All right, so he's trash. He can play all 5 positions on the line. He's garbage. All right. Let's
Jack
how-
of all
that's how I see it.
trades.
Yeah, master of none.
Master
Master of none. Um. Anyways, Raiders trading up to the 30th pick with the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have him taking Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. I don't see Hendon Hooker as a first-round talent, first-round quarterback. He will miss some time because he got injured late against my mighty Gamecocks. It was a sad injury. We were whooping him the whole time anyway. But he tore his ACL, so he'll be out for pretty much half this season. So I guess the Raiders are a good pick for it because you have Jimmy Garoppolo there. And what I love but hate about this Raiders team is like everyone's just projecting him quarterbacks or trading up to try to get a quarterback. And poor Jimmy hasn't even seen the field yet.
Be in the same situation as
poor Jimmy just left San Francisco. Like finally, no one's breathing down my neck. I'm somewhere where people want me, and the first thing everyone does is project him to take a quarterback.
Yep, that does suck.
But
that's kind of just like who he is. He's like he's like a better Brissett.
Yeah, he's the stopgap.
That was kind of his role.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
He's the stopgap.
A stopgap who is one good deep ball away from a Super Bowl.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. A stopgap that you can win playoff games with. So that's an interesting pick. I am curious to see where Hendon Hooker goes. He's a guy where if it was come second round and all these quarterbacks, actually, let me finish my initial thought. Come second round, come third round, if he's still there, I would love the Pats to try to get him. I mean, they've already been taught, like, there's already been a bunch of Mac Jones rumors and stuff, but if he's going to sit the bench, there's no pressure for him to start anyways because he's got to get healthy. So he falls second round, third round. I would love to see the Pats take him out. But the thought that I was beginning and caught myself off is all these quarterbacks, there's always one in the late round where it's like, oh, this guy's going to go in the 20s to 30s. This guy's going to go right at the end of the first round, and they never do. They always get projected. There's always all these hype about it. That there's always like, it's every draft season. It's always like, here's the top 3 or 4 guys, and then there's always someone who goes, there's one more that could sneak in the first round. There's always one more.
They go in like the 5th.
Yeah, and they go in like the 5th round. Like I remember Drake Fromm was like that. What's his name? Mason Rudolph was like that in the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen draft, where there was those top 5 guys, and then there's like
liked Rudolph.
I remember there was like, and it's always like that last 2 picks. It's like, oh, Mason Rudolph could go here. Don't sleep on it. And then he goes like 3 rounds later.
Willis was like that.
Who?
Malik Willis was like that last year.
Yep, Malik Willis was like that last year.
Although every quarterback was on there.
Yeah, last year was a shit show.
Last year, like there just weren't quarterbacks drafted.
Exactly. And then this last pick, the New York Giants, who traded down in this mock draft with the Chiefs that we talked about earlier for Jalen Hyatt, they get Cam Smith out of South Carolina. Versatile defender, can line up outside, inside, and solid pick for me. I think that's a good pick for the Giants. Try to trade down, get more assets, build around Daniel Jones, build up that defense, and I think it's a solid pick.
Like Cam Smith?
Yeah, I like Cam Smith.
It's the eye test.
Yeah. The eye test passes.
Fair.
Yeah, he's good. Watching him, it does seem like he's kind of one of those big play or bust type of guys, but he knows what he's doing out there. He's a ball hawk. He just needs to stay on his man a little bit more, and he'll be all right. All right, so that's the first round. Any picks that we skipped that you want to talk about? I think it's funny the Ravens not picking a wide receiver still.
Almost. That was another because like right in front of them, a receiver gets taken too.
Yeah, it would be just
like,
a classic.
Did Georgia really need Jordan Addison?
Yeah.
Nah, yeah. And then the Ravens are left without one.
That would be hilarious. I mean, the thing with the Ravens though, it's like, what do you? Like if I'm them, I'm taking a wide receiver and I'm telling Lamar, go screw yourself. You're playing with us. You're gonna play on whatever, or you're not gonna play at all this season, and we're gonna draft a guy.
Imagine
a couple rounds. That would suck. I mean, when Watson did it, it's like it sucks that we want to see the best talent out in the field. So that would suck. But Going Miles Murphy here at pick 22. Get yourself a wide receiver, man. Your second wide receiver is Nelson Aguilar, and your first one is a first round pick that we've barely seen play. So,
Shad.
all right, the bait man. All right, you got anything else for this mock draft?
No, I mean we'll have our own mock draft, of course, so we don't have to just talk about Chad's picks. I think one of the funnest things that we've done as a podcast is the annual Wise Mock.
Oh, and that is the one that we get the most feedback on every year. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to do it. That'll be probably next Friday, a week from now. Be right before the draft. It'll be on a Friday where we don't have much to talk about. So that'll be when our mock draft drops. And get yourself hyped for it. Get yourself excited. And now we're going to end it off with a little bit of college corner because I got to go to a baseball game yesterday, Chris.
Yeah.
It kind of got storm delayed, though. So that sucks. Yeah.
You guys have like a thunderstorm for 10 minutes?
Yes. Yep.
We got dumped on for a little bit, and then it was just fine. It was the classic, like, midsummer storm. It's April.
Oh, wait. Is this... Oh, this is right now. Did they tie the second game? No, they're at the top of the ninth. It's tied right now. But...
You guys played on a Thursday?
Yep, we played on a Thursday, and then it was supposed to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but because of inclement weather coming tomorrow, they decided to make it a doubleheader today, and they were gonna almost do a tripleheader because of this one, but we're here. They beat game one, pivotal game one, and what was the final score? It was pretty high because we got a grand slam late in the game. I wish I got to see the rest of it. We won 13-5. Great win over LSU.
Great analysis.
I know. I mean, so okay. At the game, the game was a blast. The first inning, they get a two-run home run. They're up 2-0 right in the first inning. The bottom of the first. Then top of the second, LSU gets a run in. It's all right. We're still fending off. And then right before we leave, we get one more home run before the rain delay or the storm delay. And then sadly, we went back and then just hung out and went downtown and watched it there. But sadly, we couldn't watch the rest of the game. And now the doubleheader tied up right now, top of the ninth, 7-7. So huge game.
Is LSU really good again?
They're the number one team in the country.
They're always good. Oh, okay.
Yes. Their pitcher, or at least the guy for pitching game one, he was pitching literally 99 every time. It was insane. Yeah. It was absolutely insane. It made our pitcher look like a chump. But those fastballs, it was basically you just had to wait till one of those fastballs connected, and that's what South Carolina's game plan was we're just going to swing at these fastballs, and when they connect, they will go out of the home, and that's what happened multiple times last night. So, is that better analysis for you, Chris?
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
It was all over the place at first.
I'm glad you called me out. I had to dial it in.
Stuck the landing.
Yeah, I'm glad I stuck the landing. All right. So, what else? What do you got? Two more games today. We'll see if we beat the number one team in the country. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Got our Big Ten home opener this weekend against Rutgers, so hopefully that's easy pickings. I'm annoyed because the weather's been great all week, and then the weekend comes and it's back like below 60 degrees. So wish it was like 70 for weekend games, but it's whatever. The big thing going on here is still transfer portal. We're just waiting on the Hunter Dickinson saga.
Yeah.
The
Sweepstakes.
It's just slowly building more in our favor. There's a site. Do you know anything about the site On3?
Yeah.
A recruiting site. So they've projected him here. I don't know who's making those projections. the insider information that I've read on my site that I won't publicize basically began as this is a rumor that is almost certainly not to happen to there have been talks now. And they could be one of the favorites.
All right.
So, in my mind, it's a guarantee. Just makes too much sense.
It does. We talked about it last episode, and you're right. The hate for Turgeon, the staying in Big Ten, I think it would be a great addition to Maryland and really help you guys out.
Like, he's an asshole. Like, he wants to be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He would be the biggest bad guy.
In the Big Ten.
Yes. They would win the conference. Oh.
And then win the tournament.
It's not out of the question. They would be a top 10 team going into the season.
I
It's
hope.
a matter of whether or not you can meet those expectations or not. But it would be like we would sell out every game. It would be an incredibly fun season. Even if he doesn't come, like we're still set up very nicely for next year.
So
there's no losing here.
Other transfer stuff, not just Maryland. Speaking of Big Ten, Caleb Love is joining Michigan. So
That surprised me because they've been such a dumpster fire.
they got two guys today. They got Caleb Love, and they also got some other guy from Seton Hall, I believe, to join them. Yeah, Seton Hall's Trey Jackson.
I think Maryland was talking to him. But like Juwan Howard has been that he was completely falling apart there, especially when Dickinson entered. But and they got a guy from Bama. He's only a 3-star. But that kid, they've like already rebuilt the roster.
Must be nice.
See, let's check out the South Carolina page.
Hey, we got our two guys right now. So it's weird.
Yeah,
I was talking to
43rd in the country in recruiting.
I was talking to my my insider info, which is just one of the team managers on the basketball team. And
There
he
you
was saying that I guess it's a whole NCAA rule where you can't do visits, like you have to do them like every other week. Like there's like a dead period where you can't do visits and stuff. So apparently we're just stuck in the dead period right now, and we will get once that's over, we'll get some more guys. But yeah, that's all I got. There's no other news or rumors or anything.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, does that do it? Is that the pod?
That's it.
All right. Well,
that turned pretty packed.
For an episode that we texted each other beforehand saying we have nothing to talk about, that ended up pretty well. Thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoy your weekends, and we'll see everybody on Tuesday for what? I don't know. Masters recap and
Movie?
What?
Oh wait, no, not yet.
Yeah, when you see Mario. When you see Mario.
I don't know. I don't have tickets yet.
All right, go see it over the weekend.
Soon.
We'll do a spoiler talk for it. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. We'll see everybody on